Welcome to the Weekends with Bernie podcast. I'm Tom Everett Scott, taking you on a father and son journey through a season of fantasy football. Bernie Gallagher is a retired sports reporter and bartender, teaming up with his son, Jason, a composer in Los Angeles. They will attempt to conquer the league I created. They will have to overcome injuries, trash talk, heartbreaking loss, and that's just between the two of them. Join us as we talk fathers and football on Weekends with Bernie. Little recap here, Weekends with Bernie. You got with the 104, who did you take?
We with our first pick in the draft, the Weekends with Bernie team selected Saquon Barkley against all recommendations.
Wow. To the Giants. See you in the playoffs.
And how do you feel about that so far?
Not too bad. It was the next running back that was a problem. It was Najee Harris.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, he had a problem with our second-round pick, Najee. Yeah. No,
okay.
third round pick.
Well,
okay.
I would have rather Mixon.
This is what I saw at the draft, which was live. We had the board, we had the stickers, the whole thing. I was sitting up close by the board. Bernie was close to me on the couch. Everyone seemed to be having a good time. Jason, you were very far away from the board, kind of in the back of the room.
We'll cut to a clip here. You'll see a little bit of
Okay, so here, I'm going to circle with the telestrator. This is Jason, where he was sitting. And I noticed that for the second pick, there was a little conference between the two of you. You were over there, you were whispering to each other. It looked like, and I was very excited. I was like, here we go. And we do have footage of you picking Saquon. You're right.
Yes.
I thought you were joking just now.
No, I do. It's the only time I'm ever going to say, let's cut to a clip, and we actually have the clip.
During the draft, who was filming you? One of our friends was filming you.
Steve Schluter.
And I was like,
professional cameraman, by the way.
He is a professional cameraman. He does the
DP.
Kardashians.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, this is a good idea. We have stuff for the podcast. Anyway, for the second pick, you guys were conferring. I was excited for us as guys who are
For the podcast.
tracking this.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Bernie unexpectedly came back and sat next to me, and we had to talk about something. I don't know.
Wasn't Mixon was available?
Well, that you're really hyped up on Mixon this year. I think. I get it. But we picked Olave in the second. I was going for a wide receiver.
Yeah,
second round was
right.
It came back to us at 4, and Olave was sitting there.
Which is a great pick, but what happened? You didn't like that pick?
I didn't. I wasn't very familiar with him, so I mean, it ended up being he looks like a good pick, but I wasn't aware of it.
He's a younger player.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
so then for the third pick, I noticed that Bernie did not get up to go back to have a conference.
But
I sensed something was amiss.
I did signal.
There were signals?
Mixon.
I don't think there were signals. How did you?
he was sending Mixon's the signals.
Yeah. Mixon's.
We were listening to JJ talk about how Pittsburgh's defense is going to score a lot of points this year, possibly.
Defense or offense?
I mean, offense. Maybe the defense too.
Because neither.
Maybe Najee goes on the defense. I don't know. No, yeah, he was saying the offense was going to score a lot of points, and I was swayed by that a little bit. Though I wasn't swayed by him saying take Eckler at 4. I didn't take Eckler at 4. So here we are. Anyway.
And Eckler had a great week. Saquon, not so much.
Cut to the news. Weekends with Bernie won their first game. We're 1-0. We're undefeated. One of the best records in the league right now.
That's right.
Middling in points, and we're happy about it. So on to week 2.
Right.
And maybe we can get some advice from our special guest.
We've got our guest here for this episode. He is a famous actor, a wonderful director, a brilliant writer. He is the star of Psych, A Million Little Things, and many other things. James Roday Rodriguez, welcome to Weekends with Bernie. Hi, James.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you for having me. And you're right. I am very, very famous. So this is kind of a big deal for you guys.
It is. It's a huge get.
It is. But also, we should add an amazing fantasy football player.
Well, that's how I know James.
Manager.
I mean, we have circled each other in acting circles, but how we really know each other is through fantasy football. James invited me to be a celebrity manager of a team that he has set up a. Why don't you explain it, James? Because I'm just going to butcher it. It's an NFFC primetime league, right?
The NFFC is sort of the granddaddy of high stakes fantasy sports. It's for people with way too much disposable income that are willing to throw it at fantasy sports. And over the years, it's also kind of evolved into a place where professionals go to ply their trade. It's not unlike poker. There are guys now who just do this for a living. They'll they'll enter 250 times in these high stake leagues, and that's kind of like their job. And so about 4 years ago, I called Greg Ambrosius, which is a pretty fun last name.
Mm-hmm.
You figure the root is ambrosia, which means something that smells or tastes pleasantly.
It's the food of the gods, I believe.
Yeah, 100%. So that's probably always worked out pretty well for him. And I said, hey man, we're part of this high stakes fantasy community where we know everyone has dough. Why don't we try and do something good? Because fantasy football has been good to many of us, not just fiscally, but also, with everything that we've been dealing with, especially in the last 3 or 4 years. The fact that we've had this game to play that kind of connects us is pretty great. And Greg was awesome. And we set up what was initially a single league in their main event, which they call the Prime Time, which I co-managed with The Miz, WWE superstar The Miz. And anything we win goes to a wonderful charity called Connor's Cure, which is part of the V Foundation, where every cent goes to pediatric cancer research. So you're playing in a league of 12, as many of us are familiar with, like a 12-person league. And winning that league is worth, I think, $7,000 or $8,000, which is
big.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're also part of an overall tournament made up of many 12-team leagues,
right?
And so you're also playing for a $250,000 grand prize.
Wow!
That works its way down from there. So, like, if you were to finish number 10, say,
right,
overall, that's still probably worth
still a big payday, and that money. And if
Yeah.
you win, or I win, or The Miz, or Fabiano, or musician from what's his forgetting
Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains.
Thank you. Any of us wins that money. It goes to fight cancer.
It goes straight to fight pediatric cancer, and then the way we've engaged all of the other people who aren't in one of our leagues is to just make a donation. Like, there's a button on their website, playinffc.com, that they have to go to every day to check their team or do waivers or whatever. You click it, it takes you right to the V Foundation, and you can make whatever donation you see fit.
That's wonderful. That is such a great thing. I'm so proud to be a part of it. Thanks for asking me to do it. So, in other words, you're very familiar with fantasy football. You've been doing this for a while. You're actually more of a, originally, I think, a fantasy baseball guy, right?
I started baseball and football the same year, and then added basketball the year after that.
That's insane.
Wow.
Why would you do that?
It's to cover the year every day.
I don't really have like a proper vice.
You don't have a proper vice. Oh.
No.
Got it.
And I want one. I needed one. I yearned for one.
Do they have pickleball leagues now too?
Like fantasy pickleball leagues?
If they don't, it's got to be the next thing. It's on deck.
Yeah, I thought so.
That's when you know you're really hitting rock bottom.
I will not go there. Not to amuse you, not to amuse anyone. And I'm not going to perhaps a fantasy pickleball league just so I can come back on your show and talk. I won't do it.
Maybe.
So
maybe.
You are a big get for us. Also, as a friend now, you're a big get for me with my kids who love you from Psych. I think they have seen every single episode of that show, including the movies. They've probably seen every episode multiple times. I think, Bernie, you're a big fan of Psych, haven't you?
I have probably seen all of them too, yeah. Right?
Will you please gush over James?
Gush.
Thanks, Bernie.
Hey, yeah.
We'll play some music as he talks. Go ahead.
Yeah.
A lot. That means a great deal.
Did you have a joke for James?
Did I have a joke for James?
Yeah, didn't you prepare a joke for James?
No, you said I didn't. You didn't. I'm embarrassing you enough without.
No, we wanted to groan after it. That's
you
why.
want to groan after it. Well, the whole thing was that when I heard that you were James, that you were going to be on this podcast, I was psyched.
Yeah, you were.
See how bad I am.
Ding, dude. Jeez,
Actually,
Louise.
You landed that, I thought.
The writer's strike is real.
Yeah.
That's just a happy accident. That's just organic wordplay. That's something that clearly comes effortless to Bernie. And in this particular case, it happened to apply to the guest. That's all. That's all that was.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And he's met his quota for
Yeah.
this episode of,
Yes.
of Singers. Anything else after this is gravy.
That's right.
It's in my contract.
We've been also asking every guest, any memorable sports memories or events or things with your mom or dad growing up. We've shared 4 Super Bowls as Giants fans, my dad and I, and we'd like to joke those are our 4 hugs of my childhood. But do you have any?
My most vivid sports memories are from a little bit later than that, just because the Spurs didn't get good until I was gone. And
San Antonio, born and bred.
Yes, and the Titans, made their lone Super Bowl when I was also had just finished college. So I can give you probably the single most visceral. I can still kind of imagine it being last week memory, and that's the Music City Miracle, where I was in an apartment in West Hollywood with my best friend Todd, who Tom met recently in Las
Shout out
Vegas.
Todd.
We had just moved from New York. We did not yet have furniture, so we had an empty, carpeted apartment in West Hollywood. Fun fact: the penthouse was occupied by Jim J. Bullock of Hollywood Squares.
Center Square.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. From
And
the
we
show.
we had a TV on a cardboard box, to elevate it so that you're not looking down.
Can't put it on the ground. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and we watched that wild card game between the Titans and the Bills, and we would pass the time waiting for our furniture because it was like 6 weeks we had to go without furniture because we went custom. I had just gotten my first series, and I ordered a couch that was being made. wasn't already in stock, gentlemen.
Custom.
And
That's fancy.
we created this game where we had like these plastic balls, and it was like a one-on-one baseball game where we would actually pitch and like hit with our hand. This is grown men, by the way. These are men in their early 20s.
Yeah. With their TV on a cardboard box.
Yeah, creative.
We had this whole big open living room space, and so we would play fake one-on-one baseball and then watch TV and then go out to a bar at night. And that was our existence for a solid 6 weeks. But we were watching this game, and of course it looked like, once again, the Titans were going to blow it. It was going to be salt in the wound because it was going to be against the same team that came back and beat them, after being down 28-3 at halftime from our childhoods. That was also the Bills. And then, sure enough, the lateral happens. Wisebeck to Dyson, and there's no flags, and we start screaming. We start screaming like men, but then by the time he's like at the 20, and it's clear that there's nobody who's going to be able to stop him, our voices shot all the way up.
Yeah. You did the Ric Flair woo.
And we were jumping, and we were hugging each other, and I guess like, if you just tell that story and you leave out the context, it's just 2 sports fans having like a moment they'll never forget for as long as they live. But when you put it in the context of 2 grown men who play like a fake baseball game in an empty apartment, and then you add that behavior on top of it, that to me is when it really becomes special.
I feel like you really primed the pump. You primed the pump with the
Yeah, he's a storyteller.
And it doesn't matter what kind of pump you're talking about. It's prime. You know what I mean?
Right. No. Absolutely. As long as I've known you, you've had a primed pump.
That's right. And and the day I don't is the day I don't want to be here anymore.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Words to live by.
Bernie, I think you can probably agree with that, right?
I try to.
Yeah.
I guess I can. Yeah.
His pump hasn't been primed and
Oh God.
Well, everything in moderation,
Yeah,
If
true.
we can bust it out a couple times a year and it's still got its good stuff, then I think you're doing just fine.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, I think I overpumped in my younger years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
You have to pull back.
You never having had a vice, Bernie having shed all of his vices finally.
That's right.
Once and for all.
It'll happen to all of you.
It will?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's daunting.
Maybe not. Maybe it won't happen to us, Bernie.
I guarantee it, Tom.
Really?
Yeah.
You never know. What are you drinking there, buddy?
This is going to be Dr. Pepper Zero. I like to start my day off pretty healthily.
Mm-hmm.
It's recommended, yeah.
With a low or no calorie soda.
Yeah.
Lower no calorie pepper.
I am viceless. I don't drink coffee. I don't do heroin, for example. So I'm kind of stuck with, and I drink it out of a cup.
Giant.
Is that like a blender container?
A blender cup. That's correct, Tom.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Your TV is still on a cardboard box, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It seems that way. And if for our YouTube viewers, that is a large sunflower in the foreground?
It's in the foreground, Tom.
That's a great callback to the sunflower seeds from the previous episode.
Probably completely blowing the focus on the camera. But that's
blowing
fine. No, I'm
what?
just kidding.
It's going to be great. It's going
That's
to be
great.
great.
It's going to be great.
We love the color of it.
Yeah,
It's
great.
beautiful.
Looks great.
It's a nice pop, and I don't do that for everybody. I just want you to know.
No. We feel special. So how did your fantasy football's team? Wow.
Hey, footballs?
Football's
Fantasy
teams.
footballs.
Has the football's teams been for James Roday Rodriguez?
How are you doing so far this year? Are you 1-0? Like, are you undefeated? Like
We're
Bernie
1
and-
week into the season.
1 week into the season, a young baby season. Well, I'll start by saying that because of the fact that we are on strike, some of us, and me in particular, I'm on strike twice. I said yes to more fantasy leagues than I've been in quite some time.
How many?
I'd sort of got my number down to a pretty manageable, like 6 over the last few years, which is still a lot, but something that I feel like I can manage. And this year it's 10.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
Wow.
Thank God.
Jeez.
I was like covering
nervous.
at 12 for a while, and I got it down to 8 this year.
10 manageable, like I'm not counting best balls and I'm not counting
Okay. Yeah.
like 18 leagues. These are leagues where like I have to make waiver claims and so I've got 10 of them, and I believe I went 6-4 to start.
Okay.
Seems
I
right.
squeaked out a win in our sack cancer league, Tom.
Oh boy. Congratulations. I did not.
It's all right. You had some tough luck right out
Is
of the
that a
gate.
head-to-head? I couldn't even tell.
The first 2 weeks, I believe, top 6 scores get a win, bottom 6 scores get a loss. And then it'll switch to head-to-head.
Okay. Wow. So I was really at the bottom. I think I came in last place. I had a terrible draft. I drafted all these rookies. I was feeling the pressure from these sharks, these guys.
Yeah,
and
that's high stakes fantasy football. You're in there with some real killers.
the guy
I'm
next to
sure.
me was operating off the exact same rankings list, the Ben Gretsch rankings list. We realized it later because we were sniping each other. But also, I had J.K. Dobbins, who's done for the season, and Mark Andrews.
Who suddenly was not playing week 1.
Yeah.
Like,
So I need him back. Yeah, but this is what happens. You get this many teams, and you're kind of just hoping for like a balanced, like win-loss ratio or something.
I've watched football with Tom multiple years now, and as the teams increase, everything that happens is good and bad. It's like that just won my game, and it lost 4 games, and every move is crucial, and so he's just frozen. There's just no emotion.
Oh,
I probably would have been looking at like 8-2 if it hadn't been for that Dallas defense. I got stung. I got stung in two different leagues where I went into that Monday night game with comfortable leads, and then they just went crazy and slapped a shutout with a bunch of turnovers, and I ended up losing both of those. So
yeah, I mean it was a brutal, strange, crazy finish to week 1. I mean there was that Sunday night game where the Cowboys blew out the Giants. Sorry, Jason and Bernie, they're huge Giants fans.
Well, yeah, it was over in the first 2 minutes. That's okay.
It was disgusting.
And then the roller coaster ride of Monday night. I mean, probably one of the most dramatic games I've ever seen in my life.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that was exciting, right? You see Rodgers go down after 4 snaps. Somebody posted like Aaron Rodgers football highlights from 2023, and it was him running on the field with the flag.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
But then, and thinking that Zach Wilson, would just be terrible, and then they got lucky. Well, not lucky. I think that defense is for real.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think now, going forward for the Jets? Do you think that they just stick with Zach, or are they going to bring in somebody else?
They're singing that song, aren't they? Like,
I like Zach. I don't think he's that. I think he's.
It would be a good story if he,
year.
if he redeemed himself now. That'd be cool.
It would be a good story because I think it would be like redeeming himself both on and off the field. It seems like he's matured as a young man, in addition to potentially playing better. I just wouldn't put my money on Zach Wilson. I've yet to see anything in a season and a start that tells me that he's the answer for that team. So
if we were like more than halfway through the season, maybe,
yeah,
and they were doing okay, and they let him give it a shot. But geez, Louise, first game, I don't know.
What if they figured out a way to take Aaron Rodgers' brain and put it in Zach Wilson's body?
Well, then
Zach
would be an independent thinker at that point.
He would be on all kinds of ayahuasca.
I think Rodgers will still be involved in helping the kid out as the season goes on.
You sure?
I think so.
Oh yeah, sideline mentor.
Yeah.
If they go with Zach, I see that in his head, in his headphones. Go deep, like in Hard Knocks when he's like, get him.
Yeah. He's like Obi-Wan and Luke.
He is. Obi.
That story did well. Luke,
Star Wars,
Skywalker. Yeah,
I mean,
he wins.
He lost an arm. You wouldn't want that to be the throwing arm, obviously.
Right.
Good point.
Way less lightsabers in the league, though. So we were also going to reminisce. I think we were planning on reminiscing. We did spend the weekend in Las Vegas with James, or some of us.
We all spent some, except for Bernie. Bernie has been to Vegas recently, but he swears he'll never go back.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, last time we took Bernie to Vegas, he started smoking and drinking again after having quit, and it was kind of a disaster.
Took me a month of rehab when I got back.
Yeah.
Where did you stay, and what was the inciting incident? Do you remember the moment where you chose to leap off the wagon? What can you tell us that story?
I think we were at the Hard Rock. Was that?
We were at the Hard Rock.
We were there for a fantasy draft.
We were there for the second annual draft of our league that we do.
And I remember going downstairs, walking around, slots and poker, blah blah blah.
It's getting loose.
And I figured, I'll get a drink, and once I get a drink, it just goes off the wall.
Here's the story how I remember it. We all gathered, within the first 10 minutes of arriving, we gathered at the restaurant, sat around a table, and we're like, hey, it's nice to be here. And I just see my dad get up and walk away. and I was like, maybe he's going to the bathroom. And then like an hour later, he comes back. With a pack of cigarettes and like a rum and coke in his hand. I'm like, Dad, it took you 8 minutes.
Well, Bernie, I'll throw this out there. We stayed at the Park MGM, which is a smoke-free casino, so that
Delightful.
In theory could cut your concerns in half.
Correct.
Because you wouldn't be able to smoke even if you wanted to, and then you could just focus on the drinking and how much and.
No, the drinking is like you have to smoke when you have a drink. That's the way my body reacts.
I see.
Yes, I felt horrible that I was somehow responsible for this backsliding.
But
he
got rid of it. He got off.
It wasn't
that
a one-time
serious
thing. It was a Vegas stays
Took
in
me
Vegas.
a couple of weeks when I came back, and that was it. I was okay.
A couple of years off your life. Who cares?
But our recent trip, which just happened, was super fun. We got to hang with James and his buddies, and we all got to watch football together. James also took me out for my birthday, which was lovely.
Oh,
I got a beautiful Branzino with a birthday candle in it, which is a first for me.
Classic.
Classic James. But yeah, it was super fun. And I also noticed that even though you have so many teams that you manage, and I thought your concern would be on every single screen going on Sunday, you were focused on the Titans game only.
That is true. It was opening weekend. It was a winnable game. I wanted to see, how the offense looked, and in classic Titans fashion, they let some really easy chances slip through their fingers and ended up losing a game that they probably should have won by 10.
And they lost by 1.
And they lost by 1. Yeah, some questionable game management, a couple questionable play calls. Got entirely hosed by the refs on what was an easy. What's the point of having replay now if it's not going to make these things right? Hand going forward, strip sack. That was obviously a fumble. That it was one of those calls where you get the league office apologizing to you on Mondays. It's like, isn't that crazy that that's still happening when you have New York watching, via satellite, the refs watching on the field, and they're still getting shit wrong.
I'm telling you, man, robot refs, they're the future.
Or that's like the new movie. I think that's a good movie title.
That would be good.
Robot Refs.
Robot refs.
Starring Tom Everett Scott and
James Roday Rodriguez. We
Thank
would be
you.
the robot refs.
Yeah, I feel like I would be in a villainous role, and Tom would somehow be the hope for the future.
Right. I'd be like Austin Powers. You'd be Dr. Evil.
Mm-hmm.
The robot refs would be like the...
He'd be creating the robot refs, and you'd
That's
be
right.
fighting against them with Aaron Rodgers on your side. Speaking of, that wouldn't be your most famous role, though, because in Vegas I learned that the role you get recognized most for was from...
Well, I might have told you about...
in airports, at least.
About Beer Fest, yeah.
Yes,
Which,
yes, the
ironically,
Beer
I
Fest.
just did Jay Chandrasekhar and Hayes MacArthur's podcast because everyone I know has a podcast. That's
Yeah.
basically
Yes.
what
This is
I'm
where we're
looking
at.
Yeah.
And so I just finished telling that story day before yesterday, much to Jay's delight. The irony, of course, being that I only appear in one scene in that very important film. But when you know that a movie of that magnitude and that sort of staying power is being made, you don't care that you're only in it for one scene. You're just happy to be a part of something.
Happy to be a
special.
part of it. That's
And
right.
and I'm also virtually unrecognizable. I have like a page boy wig on, and I have like a chin strap of whisker, and a German accent. And I sort of skip through the scene and make a few jokes and then get killed. And yet, for some reason, I get more sort of like, especially in airports headed to Vegas, bro. From across the
That's the place on the way to Vegas. That's not bad. I mean, it's better than getting recognized from something that people don't know, and then you have to do your resume. Like sometimes you.
Yeah. What do I know you from? I got
was
that
in
question on the stage after a screening during a Q&A. Somebody in the audience, they're like, "Yes, sir, you have a question?" Yeah, you. What do I know you from?
You had to answer.
I was like, "Oh gosh, I'll meet you in the lobby. We'll discuss."
Yeah, that is the worst.
It was the worst, yeah. Well, thank you, James, for coming out. We loved hanging with you in person. It was even more fun to hang with you virtually.
Well, we
Wait a
added,
minute.
That makes
we
no
added Bernie
sense.
to the mix, and as you know, Bernie always makes it better.
Bernie always makes it better. And if
That's
we
the T-shirt for the podcast. I think. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sure.
and if we go to Vegas next year, we'll bring Bernie, but we'll take him to the smoke-free environment, and we'll make sure the rum and cokes are just cokes.
We're going to go back to... I'm going to smoke and drink one day next time.
All right.
I'm going.
Oh,
Wow.
whoops.
Whoops.
All right, James, thank you so much for joining us here in the garage. Good luck to you and all your fantasy teams.
And to you, gentlemen, it's a
Thank you.
long season. No reason to panic quite yet.
Thank you, sir.
Good advice.
Be good.